Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess. I'm here to do your bonus reading for Friday the 5th. As you know, I don't know what I'm going to read about. I let the cards lead me and I'll title the video accordingly. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I really am so impressed and so honoured to have so many people enjoying my videos, and I'm so glad that I've been given the opportunity to be able to bring my readings to you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please, I'd love to have you on board. However, if my readings don't resonate with you, please move on. But anyway, thank you for your lovely comments. I do like to read the comments. I've had some pretty super ones. And again, thanks to all the Aussies watching, because that's always pretty cool. So first card out here is the Two of Swords. Now, I'm using the Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. The Two of Swords, look, I think it's a really beautiful card. It does show a person unable to make a decision. She's currently blindfolded, and the moon in the background says that not everything has been exposed yet. I really feel like you've got some sort of decision to make, but you're not making it lightly. So she's got her hands over her heart here. So it could be a heart-based decision, but you're not quite sure which way to go. Now, it could be that, as I said, not everything's revealed yet. It could be you need to cut someone out of your life, but it could be two very equal decisions or one that you need to tell the truth about. Whatever it is, you're avoiding this because you're blindfolded. So we say you're turning a blind eye to it. You're not ready to make this decision yet. Now that's the general energy of the day. So let's see where the cards take us. Okay, so first off, I see you working on something here. Now this can be working on something tangible like study. You may be doing a project for work or whatever. And it also can talk about doing inner work. So it can be talking about taking time out to work on yourself. It may be that you've, come out of a relationship, a job, a situation where you need to do a self-review. So whichever way it is, you're doing a very good job here because you've got everything here all lined up and you're working on something that's the 8 of something. So you've already done this thing many, many times before. But look, you're finally getting to a point where there's perfection in what you're currently doing. So whether and how this applies to you, I'm not sure. You would be able to apply it to yourself. But it could be that you're considering moving forward on something that you've done many times before, but now you think that you've got it right. It could be that you have learned to hone your craft. But whatever it is, you're certainly moving forward on something because you understand now what's required of you. Okay, and the next card out we have is the Ace of Swords. So very interesting to get this when we have the Ten of Swords up front. So what I'm thinking is you have a decision to make in the Two of Swords. You're putting a lot of time and effort into understanding what this decision means for you. You may have had lots of prior situations, past occurrences where you really have not got it right, and this time you want to get it right. So this can be in any area of your life. It could be love, work, whatever. But what you're doing here is you're going internally to look at how to make that decision. In the Ace of Swords here, the Ace of Swords talks about speaking a truth. It is a brand new start, and it is a start given to you from up above. In this card, it doesn't come in with the hand on it like it does in the other tarots, but it's definitely a start where you are going to step into something that you feel really wholly, solely committed to. Now, sometimes the Ace of Swords can talk about having a brand new start by taking something or cutting something out of your life in order to move forward. So you could have been working on your inner self and cutting things out that you haven't done well previously. So, for example, if these are cycles you've gone through in your past, where you've picked the wrong person for you or the wrong job or whatever else, now in the Ace of Swords you've done the work and you're determined now to move forward, understanding which way you need to go and having a clear, thorough vision. And it's a brand new path ahead of you there. Okay, so the next card out is the Nine of Wands. Now, in doing this, the Nine of Wands sort of talks about, the wounded warrior. Now in this card she doesn't look quite so wounded, she actually looks very defensive, and I love that the sun's coming up in the background because that says to me that she's nearing the end of a cycle. She's a little defensive about moving forward because of her past experiences. However, she's ready to put up those boundaries and keep away whoever doesn't belong in her area. So she is a warrior. She is a warrior and she is moving forward. She could be a he too. But what this says to me is that you've got quite used to sticking up for yourself now. So you've quite understood what you do in your life to create perhaps experiences that aren't great for you. So what you're doing here now is you're understanding the need to have boundaries. And I like that. Because in that work you've done, in that internal work, perhaps you've understood that you haven't put boundaries in place before and people have walked all over you. Now you're moving forward in your truth and putting that up. There is a feeling here of being, a little lacking in the Five of Pentacles. So I feel too that you're moving forward on this because your life hasn't given you exactly what you wanted. So this is a feeling of being sort of a little bit barren and sparse. There's nothing in this card. It's very cold. So maybe in some ways, and if this is something to do with work, you've been sort of very much focused on your money rather than love or, other things in your life. So maybe you're making a conscious decision now to leave this behind and bring in some of the other things in your life that you haven't brought into balance. Now we have a King of Wands here. Now I feel this is your energy. It can represent a fire sign, so a Leo, Sagittarius or Aries. But I really feel like this is you now moving forward. You're understanding, you've given yourself this opportunity of new growth here because you've understood these things you've done in the past and you've understood now what you need to do to move forward. And these boundaries are exceptionally in need of now, sort of thing. You've really understood that. Now, I am drawn to this Leo energy, so you could be a Leo or you could be dealing with a Leo in your life, and it may be what you've decided to cut out to move forward. But what I'm thinking here is you're now moving forward, you're now top of your game, you're passionate, you're, good looking, you're feeling sexy, you're ready to take on the world. You understand that if you move forward, you need to have boundaries so that people do not take advantage of your good nature. But I think you've got taken advantage of so many times. Now this card here came up in the What's Cracking reading today, and this card talks about being stuck in your thoughts and feelings. Now I'm feeling you moving away from this energy. I feel like you've dropped this and you've moved away from this, but it's still sort of in your mind that you've gone through this time. It's still freshly with you. But this is what you're leaving behind to move forward, and I like that because what this says to me is there's no overthinking about this situation anymore. You are clear on how you need to move forward. So you've taken the blindfold off, you've walked out of the swords, you've grabbed this sword out the front here because this is the one you're going to use to cut people out that no longer serve you and also help you speak your truth. It just reminds me of the talking stick. When someone has a talking stick and it's their chance to talk. In this, it feels like you now have the sword, so you're able to speak your truth. And look at you go. Wow, Nine of Pentacles. You really are in your element here. I like this. It's come out beautifully in this reading. So you're really feeling on top of everything now. You're confident. You feel comfortable where you are. It's like you have everything in order. All you needed was to get your thinking right, and now you have that right too. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, and then we have the King of Swords. Now, this feels like someone else's energy. It could be you moving forward with the sword. I won't discount that, but it is a person who is very outspoken, somewhat cold in their emotions, although I don't think cold's quite, I think probably reserved would be a better word. So perhaps not able to speak up as, clearly as he wants to. If this is you, however, I feel like you will be you've got your sword up ready to go. So I think you are ready to speak your truth. But I feel like you're going to speak your truth to someone who's an air sign. And an air sign is usually Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. So maybe you have this person in your life that you want to speak to about something and you haven't had perhaps the confidence to do this before. So what I see for some people here is that maybe you started a relationship with this person, but they haven't been so keen or so engaged as you. So you're going ready forward to make a decision on whether you keep going with this person, but you want to put some boundaries in place now. So you want to say to them, I'm ready to move forward with you, but if you want to move forward with me, you need to such and such and such. And then we have the Five of Swords. There may be a little bit of conflict here. So he may not receive this quite so well, especially if you've not had boundaries in place before. So sometimes when we let people do a bit of walking all over us and then we turn around and say, you've been walking all over me, I'm not putting up with that anymore. This is the sort of energy you'll get. So they're going to fight because they like you being the doormat. Perhaps you don't like being a doormat anymore and you're prepared to let them go and cut them out if they don't serve your purpose. Good for you, but they need to know it's not right to treat people in the way that they're treating you. If this is a work situation, applies beautifully, because I feel like some of you are going into work today and saying, I don't want to be the doormat anymore. I would like a bit of respect. I, do everything I need to do. I'm respectful of others. Why are you not respectful of me? But definitely a conversation of that kind coming up here. And look at the outcome. I like it very much. So whether this is romance, business, work, whatever we're applying this to, the outcome for you is stability, which for me, this is what you were after, because you've had a lot of this in the past, this cold, not having, answers, being left out in the cold, those sort of things. And I feel now that you're walking forward into this, especially with this card here as well. So there's a very strong feeling that what you're doing here is not only the right thing to do, but it's going to be a lucrative finale. You're going to get what you want from this. So very positive reading, very positive. I like your passion, people. Whoever's doing this, whether it be for love or money, I like your passion. You're really going for it, and that's so important. And I think you've thought a lot about this, and you've finally come to the decision that you need to stand up for yourself. And you know what? Best decision to make. Okay, so we got 2 cards out today. Now, very funny, because I got Layla out again, which was the card that came out for the bonus read. The What's Cracking. So Layla says, spend time alone in nature, meditating about your desires and intentions, and ask the angels to help you gain a positive perspective. Now, I relate to this again in this reading because it does talk about trying to make a decision and not having all the information. And sometimes we do need to take time out to go inside to really look at what is it that's driving us at the moment. What do we want before we go forward? And we do a lot of overthinking. Any of the air signs can talk about overthinking, the overanalysis paralysis stuff. So this sort of talks about taking time out to really make clear decisions. The other card that came out was Rochelle, and it says, as you honour and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you now. Now, this is perfect with this day reading because that's exactly what this is about. It's about following who you are. It's about cutting out what doesn't serve you and about standing up for your rights, which a lot of us don't do very well. So this is a beautiful card. I'll read that again. It says, as you honour and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you now. And that's exactly what's here. Wow, good story, folks. Thanks.